Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and in this video I'm going to show you two games of people driving light tanks racking up hilarious amounts of assistance damage, both for your benefit and for mine, because at the moment I am attempting to complete Light Tank Mission 15 for the T-28 heavy tank concept, which involves racking up 5,000 damage, a combination of the damage that you have dealt and your own spotting and tracking damage, your assistance damage. So, first we have K-Fuffle. He is driving the Soviet Tier 7 light tank, the LTTB. Now, apologies ever so slightly for some of these, for K-Fuffle's ability to phase through objects here. I'm using the 9.7 client to play this 9.6 replay, so clearly some of the map has changed. K does not actually have strange, mysterious burrowing and quantum tunneling through walls abilities. It's just the different patches. So, he has come to this location, which I really need to try out myself. You've got a nice divot here in the ground to hide yourself from, and you can spot all these bad guys as they poodle around the corner. I had completely forgotten that you could come here in a light tank, which is really dumb, I know, but there we go, sometimes I'm an idiot. And you can see K's just active scouting here, as well as slightly levitating. He's just going around and spotting these guys and letting the inevitable campers at D1, D2, E2, that sort of area, do some shooting and shoot the bad guys. And it's working out a treat. And of course, because he's active scouting, he's staying on the move, so if anyone does get a shot on him, he's going to be a right bugger to hit. I should also point out, probably, this is a tier 10 game. This is the worst matchmaking the LTTB sees. Now, I don't actually have this tank yet. It looks like a lot of fun. I've unlocked it. You know, you'll be aware I've posted up some replays in and put a review up of the MT-25, the tier 6 light tank for the Soviets. But this tank looks a lot of fun. I've heard some people compare it to the old T-50-2. And yeah, I mean, he's just waiting for the IS-3 to poke round, at which point the IS-3 is going to take a... What size gun is this? 85? Yeah, an 85mm shell to the side. And you know how much IS-3s like to be ammo racked. That one doesn't ammo rack him, but, you know, it goes in and makes him hurt, and the reload on this gun is very tasty. K's going for the tracking shot. I don't think he actually managed to track the guy, but it was an intelligent play to try and go for that. So, despite all the damage that we have seen pour in onto the enemy team due to K's spotting, the friendly team's only actually winning 2-0. There's an IS-6 and an IS-3 on very low health, and why is there an IS-6 in this game? Because he platooned up with a T-34. Ah, well, yeah. What can you do? Speaking of that IS-6, he has a conga line of pain heading right for his face. Can K pick up the kill? Come on, or at least sneak through. He does sneak through. Can he also pick up the kill? Yes, he can. Kill successfully and injured. Didn't even take any damage into the process. Scoreline is 5-1. Now the enemy team are pushing a wee bit down by the railway tracks, which is a little unfortunate. And there's a pair of what the Calfee 100s who just execute that IS-3, but they lose one of their number in the process. K's just moving up here. Can he spot that E100? Can he do it? Well, he's got a lot of backup. I mean, the waffle can't kill them all, basically. At least I don't think he can. Well, it would take 2 shots to kill K. No, he can't kill them all. They just have too much health between them. So K is going to zip forward. This is a fast little machine. So I've never really seen this tank in action before, so as I've got it unlocked, it's very interesting for me to see the little thing motor around. And that waffle is just taking all of the pain. I think this might be K doing the spotting, or it might be someone else, I'm not sure. K puts a shell in himself. At this point I'd be reloading high explosive, because if you're going to do that again, the top segment of the waffle there is made of tissue paper and puppy's tears. So so HE will do the job nicely. And the enemy E50, sorry, the friendly E50 is whinging and complaining about his team. What are you going to do? Right, Centurion Mark 7. K goes for the lower plate shot, manages to nail it. This looks like quite a tasty gun. The gun depression on this tank appears to be garbage. Oh no, that Centurion's using the 20-pounder. He can reload. Yeah, like that. Yeah, the gun depression on this tank appears to be terrible, but the gun looks like it's quite good. They've got a third waffle? Oh, jeez. And the mobility looks good. This looks like it could be quite a fun little machine. Right, K. Nail this Centurion. There's a good boy. And suddenly, the third waffle, who was last spotted down south at J7, the third waffle sneaks a shot in from somewhere, from stealth, and ends K's little adventure. Which is a shame. Aww. Oh well. The waffle in question is now the last person left on the enemy team, and he is not looking particularly clever anymore. So I hopefully that replay has highlighted a position on this map you can use if you spawn in the south to try and rack up some spotting damage. And as you'll see from the end plates, it really does rack up an awful lot of spotting damage. Let's just speed this up, and hopefully this guy is actually going to die. Yeah, he is. There we go. So you can see that Cade gets a very nice amount of assistance damage there, and that will basically all be spotting. I don't think he managed to track anyone. So yeah, let's go and take a look at those results. So K managed to pick up spotting damage on the Centurion IS-3, AMX 50B, Waffle, T28 prototype, E75, another Waffle, and that IS-6. Very nicely done. That was worth a second class mastery for K, having managed to only do 802 damage. 1,118 base experience. But of course, he picked up patrol duty, 5,567 assistance damage. Nice. Very nice indeed. Lovely job there from K, and highlighting a position that I'm going to have to bear in mind and use myself. Here we have the second game. This one is courtesy of Gleb. You may remember him. He's one of my clan mates, and is in fact one of our clan deputy commanders, so he's my boss, if you will. You may remember Gleb. He was in a video in his ELC. I was in my Carnarvon. We were testing out how sneaky the ELC was. Anyway, he'd been trying for some time to do Light Tank Mission 15 for the Stug 4 at this point, which, let's remind you, when he was doing it, it's changed slightly now, but when he was doing it, required you to rack up 4,000 assistance damage. Now your own damage is counted into that as well, but it wasn't at the time. This is the AMX 1390 Tier 8 French light tank, and he is in a Tier 10 game. Now, in a certain sense, that's actually a good thing if you're trying to complete these light tank missions, because there's shed loads of damage to go around. Lots of health to be obliterated. Gleb spawned on the south. This is the... is it Westfield? Westfield, yes, map. Which has now, I think, been... yes, it has now been changed, but this is a replay from patch 9.6, so this is one of the old... this is the old Westfield. Thankfully, I'm not using the patch 9.8 client, because otherwise that would make it be a little bit funky. Right, so Gleb has taken up a fairly aggressive forward bush location to try and spot some bad guys, and there's a Leopard 1. Not firing, because he's more sensible than that. Just waiting for the pain to come in. And whereas the previous game you saw K running around like a mad thing, doing a lot of active spotting, this is more your kind of passive bushwork. Which one should you do? Well, it depends what tank you're in, it depends what map you're on, it depends what you're used to and what you're comfortable with doing, it depends on the situation. Basically, you just do whatever is appropriate at the time. You know, don't say, I am a passive spotter, I am an active spotter. No, you are a guy who is trying to get some spotting done, and you're going to do it however is necessary to do it. T54, you just make sure it gets done. Now there's a T-57 heavy up to Gleb's left, but doesn't appear to be close enough to spot him, thankfully. Otherwise this could be a very short game. And when you're doing this sort of passive scouting, you do have to be very, very patient. And if you don't have Sixth Sense, although Gleb does, so he knows to get the hell out of dodge, if you don't have Sixth Sense, not only do you have to be very patient, you also have to be very good at, you know, clenching your buttocks and hoping for the best. But Gleb has Sixth Sense, he knew he was spotted, although Sixth Sense of course goes off 3 seconds after you're spotted. He knew he was spotted, and thus he knew it was time to be somewhere else, and so he was. Now, there's of course a T-57 Heavy over here, who's a very dangerous opponent. You do have to be very careful about him with that 4-round autoloader. Gleb is pumping some shots in and running away, which is eminently sensible. You don't want to get shot repeatedly by that bad boy. And the AMX 5100 next to Gleb explodes. Hurrah! Oh dear. Alright, so T-57 Heavy is now running away. He doesn't appear to know that Gleb's here. Gleb has backed off far enough that he's, you know, disappeared off the radar, and he's got multiple layers of bushes between him and the 57. And the 57's dead. Scoreline is 7-2. So it's definitely in the Allies' favour. We know where the T-110E4 is, we know where the Tiger II is, we know where the T-54 is. I was going to say was last spotted, but we know where he is. Gleb gets spotted again. And there's also that VK over in the background. Again, you can see Gleb is trying to use bushes to conceal his location from the bad guys in question, which is eminently sensible. There's that T-54 once again, and there's that VK-A up in the background. Gleb's aiming in on the VK. Oh, VK takes a hit. Another hit. Puts a shot into Gleb. Batchat actually polishes the guy off. Gleb bounces a shot there. Ooh, and takes a shot to his left-hand side. Dodges around the T-54. Ah, that first shot didn't penetrate. T-54. Surely the T-54's got him nailed here. Somehow, Gleb is still alive. I'm not really quite sure how, but we'll take it. And he runs the hell away. There's only 2 of them left now, these 2 light tanks, the T-49 and the M41 Walker Bulldog. The Allied T-32 accidentally falls to his death. And Gleb has bugger all health remaining. He also appears to be reloading a regular armor-piercing clip, even though he only has 1 shell left in it. Which might be a little bit of a problem, but the game's pretty much over anyway. I don't think he was really necessarily paying too much attention to what ammunition type he had loaded at the time. And this, of course, is one of the problems with these auto-loading tanks. If you split your ammunition and you have a relatively low ammo count, like a lot of the auto-loaders do, then you can sometimes have problems splitting clips. It takes as long to reload a magazine of 1 shell as it does to reload a magazine of 6. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful. There's the Walker Bulldog. And he just vaporized, and that was the game. Now, I will be interesting to see where Gleb actually did the spotting there, because there weren't that many situations where he was obviously the only one spotting targets and they died. So I will be interested to see where that spotting came from. So that match was worth a 3rd class mastery for Gleb, but of interest in my opinion is the fact that Gleb picked up the spotting damage on the Leopard 1, the M41 Walker Bulldog right at the end, the T-54, the T-57 Heavy and the VK-A. Now, so it's all of the tanks basically that Gleb encountered during that game, so I guess it's not perhaps a huge surprise that they're the ones he picked up the assistance damage on, but the amount of assistance damage he picked up I did find surprising. Gleb came top of his team with only 467 damage dealt, because he managed to rack up, for an aimed total of 4,000, he managed to get 5,413 assistance damage. Nice. Even blocked 640 damage with his armor. Made a profit of 32,000 credits, but it's that assistance damage. So both of these games have had assistance damage levels over 5,000. Very impressive games indeed. Well done to the both of them. I mean, Gleb was aiming for 4,000. Had loads of games that were sort of 3,700, 3,900. He hadn't managed to hit that 4K bracket, and then he blows it out the water. Both of these are also very interesting from my perspective, because I need 5,000, including my own damage. I need 5K to get the T28 heavy tank concept. So yes. Anyway, I hope you guys found both of those games interesting and possibly gave you some inspiration for different locations you can use to do some scouting. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. A massive thank you to both Kfuffle and to Gleb Rewa, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.